Welcome, Elise. And today seems to be a glorious May 17th post, couple of weeks from your new hip. And what did you say you're doing?
Dancing in the streets.
Oh, does it get any better? Tell me about it.
Well, first of all, I've been to two outings already. I went to my son's art show on Saturday, and on Sunday, Mother's Day, I was invited to
And
a luncheon that lasted 8 hours, actually, but all day. But I haven't been able to see these people for almost a year, because every time they invited me over, as a matter of fact, their son brought me and my son Christmas dinner because I couldn't go to their house. They always invited us to Christmas dinner, so brought they sent the Christmas dinner over to us last year. But I know they're so sweet, very, very, very close friends. So I was able to go there and go up their steps and help them set the table, and no walker, no cane, no sticks, no anything. And I have pretty good balance. I mean, I've always had pretty good balance. So I feel comfortable, going into the elevator, down to the lobby here, and then out the door and down the steps, and no problem. Is absolute. I mean, my hip is really no problem anymore.
so
Which
you're
is
healing. Okay. Now, how is your shoulder?
well, my shoulders are. The nice thing is that I can really concentrate on them now. And yesterday I had a very successful practice day, and I thought of something that I wanted to run by you. Um,
And before you do that, what is this on the left side of your face?
Here,
Yeah.
those are our little moles.
No, it looks like it's about an inch and a half wide of brown. I've never seen that. I see the
Here.
little, yeah,
Oh, I sat in the sun yesterday. That might be it. That might
but
be right.
but it's this round and brown.
This.
Yeah,
There are one, two, three little moles. And I think what might have happened is the red around it is from sitting in the sun.
but it looks
Doesn't
brown.
hurt.
It looks brown. Is it red? I'm going to show you what it looks like to me. Stay there.
Okay.
Get close because to me it looks very different. Hold on. Okay. Shoot. Do you see the round?
Yeah. I don't think it's anything, but I will look in the mirror, and if I think I need to check with my doctor, I will.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I've had these moles for a long time. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about getting them removed. They're
Uh-huh.
benign. I've had them looked at
Good.
a long
I
time
just wonder
ago.
why the whole area got
Yeah, I
dark
think it's probably
sun.
sun exposure because I haven't been in the sun for, years actually.
But why would that whole area,
I don't know. I don't know. It's a good,
like,
I'm glad you brought it up.
can you put vitamin E oil on that whole
Sure.
area? Because what it's saying to me,
Yeah.
I always look at when a person's under stress, when
Mm-hmm.
they're not feeling well, or post-surgery, right?
Oh, okay.
So what does that indicate to me? So we've been meeting for about a year,
Yeah.
and I've seen you in everything up to your pajamas, and I've never seen the big round part. So, although you've never been in the sun in the big past year. So, just get that checked
I will.
about why that got so
It
large.
will
And
have done that, in the last, well, I haven't seen, I saw you last week. So
mhm.
it's definitely something. Also, the other thing is, what might have something to do is I've been out Saturdays, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I wore makeup 3 consecutive days. And I haven't been wearing makeup at all. And one of the things that I do when I wear makeup is I have a tinted moisturizer, and it might be a residue from that as well. It might be, you know, dermal rather than subdermal.
Okay. Whoa,
But
listen to
I'll check it out. But I'll check it out. I appreciate you bringing it to my attention
you
because I
know,
don't.
the thing is when you have a friend who says, "I see a spot,"
Yeah,
you know, those are so important to.
yeah, totally, totally. I really appreciate it. So I haven't noticed it. So so I'm trying to think of what else it could be.
Well, it could be a flush of melanin in that area, but I wonder why, right? So usually that would be hormonal,
Hmm.
but it shouldn't be. And with women, around the mouth area, that is hormonal, actually, and also around the eyes.
Yeah.
It's hormonal, but I'm assuming you're past menopause, right?
Oh God.
Right. So, and is it because your system didn't know how to self-regulate from having not been in the sun? But if that's the case, then I wonder what's behind that.
Hmm.
So then that leads me into taking that under consideration, right?
Okay.
It's curious. So then how do we work with your cells to maintain more resilience?
Right. Right.
And we're not asking for perfection, right?
No.
That's
No.
not at all that what we're looking for, but that's a big mark.
Right.
So where else could there be a big reaction?
Right. Got it. Okay.
That's what I'm thinking of. I don't
I
care
see.
about looks, I mean, but I'm just going, oh, so it's like looking at it from that point of view.
Okay. Okay. I will check it out definitely. First of all, I'll take a picture for myself, and then I'll send it to my doctor
Good.
and see whether or not she wants to see me or whatever. But I actually have been thinking of giving myself the treat of getting those moles, which are benign. Take.
It's a nice idea regarding having them done properly to have them removed so that maybe that reaction doesn't happen everywhere. I wonder if those moles here, do you want to go here? There we go. If those moles have so much melanin
Mm,
that as the moles got the sun, the UV,
mm,
did the melanin, the pigmentation, the hyperpigmentation in
mm,
the surrounding tissue happen
mm,
because of those? So I
mhm,
wonder if those were removed,
mm,
then theoretically, it doesn't mean it's for sure. It would be a
mm,
test,
mm.
to see that the hyperpigmentation doesn't happen all around.
Right.
I would think if those aren't there, and that's the cause, as the dermatologist, is the cause of the hyperpigmentation in the
Mm,
surrounding tissue
mm,
because of the two moles.
mhm.
And if the moles were removed, what are the chances when you go in the sun that that area doesn't become hyperpigmented again?
Okay. Okay. That's very clear. I can ask. Yes.
Meanwhile, put yogurt, good plain yogurt on it to bleach it
Oh,
out.
okay.
Mhm.
I will.
Yeah, because the enzymes will
Mhm.
help. And it's not, again, because of a look, it's just to calm the area down.
Yeah, totally, totally. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
I mean, in other words, I'm looking at it as it had quite a response.
Yes. Yes.
So quiet it down.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
Okay. Now
Thank you.
let's get
Thank you
to
for
the
that.
shoulders. Yes.
Yeah, so anyway, so what I was doing with my shoulders yesterday was I was actually quieting the
Yes.
whole
Oh,
humerus as I was playing, so that I would actually say to myself, quiet the humerus, the whole the whole ball and the bone. And I think what happened was the nerves around and the muscles around this humerus didn't tense up. They didn't get excited. And maybe they do usually and spark the arthritis pain. But whatever it was actually quite successful, allowing me to play with less uh, pain is not really the word, but overexcitement of the whole nervous system around my shoulders, which are very arthritic. So
very nice that you referred to it as the whole nervous system around your shoulders.
I'm talking to you, so I know
Thank you.
we are
And
now
oh,
talking about systems.
yeah, because the thing is the cranial nerves that leave the base of the brain that come through the jugular foramen, through the base of the brain, that and another foramen that they come through, they travel so much through the shoulder area.
Yes,
And so we so often don't know that we're hiking them up. You
exactly.
know, I mean, like to you, I always tell you it's the little angel on your shoulder. To me, I'm like the little devil on my husband's shoulder. I'm like, so what are you doing with that shoulder up again? I get annoyed with him. What are you doing with the shoulder up again? How is that helping you? And he goes, he's all the way like this and goes, wonk, I mean, it's just like, and I'm like, how's that working? And then in a moment later, like
Yeah.
this again. And I'm going, see, but that's because he's not doing any of the Feldenkrais lessons, right? So it's just me
Why?
being a Jewish nudge. Because by the time he comes home, we're taking care of everybody here in the house with the animals.
Yes, of course.
So,
Yeah.
I am treating him with ozone and laser, right
Right.
now, but
Right.
I hand it to him with the laser and I go, you do that. You
Right.
got to participate in some way in this. And he
Right.
does. Then he falls asleep with the laser on him, so it turns off. And 20 minutes later, he goes, I'm not done with the protocol. It should take 12 minutes at the most. So, um,
Mhm.
but that being said, there's so much that happens nervous system wise that travels through our shoulders. And when we can do things like soften our eyes and soften our cheeks around our eyes, our shoulders soften.
Really? That is very, very useful information for me.
And I'll,
Because one of the things that happen, I'm sorry, I just wanted to tell you this.
yeah,
Um, One of the things that happens when my nervous system around this whole the upper body area gets overexcited is my face. I can feel the nerves in my face, and they tingle and they sort of not cramp, but I'm very aware of them. Let's put it that way. And so that makes you know total sense to me.
well, those cranial nerves are right next to each other. So they're going out of the base of the brain. They come out from the same place. They're touching each other. And some come here and others come up here.
Ah, that makes
So
sense.
what happens is if we're feeling tension and we're grinding our teeth, it's not just a physical therapy muscle. The muscles are involved, but I'm sorry about the light keeps going like
Oh,
here,
yes,
I won't move there.
yes, okay.
So when we here, the nerves here are connected with the nerves that go here.
Mm,
So it's not just it's because this muscle is close to this muscle. Muscles do what they do because of the nerves innervating in them.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, and I'm sure there's more than just that, for sure. We know there's liquid crystalline collagen, and there's flow, and there's channels, and there's channels of communication and energetic realms that go through there, and which is why acupuncture meridians are these channels that go through the connective tissue and go along blood vessels and things like that, which is why it helps with blood pressure, da 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 da. Okay, so it's so nice to have the answers in that way to understand
Mm,
anatomically,
mm,
physiologically, acupuncture. I'm like, oh, I love it.
mm,
I love it. It's not like someone just made it up, right?
mm,
Someone felt it. It was a felt sense. They
mm,
created it
mm,
3,000, 3,500 years later.
mm,
Somebody opens up a cadaver and starts looking at it in a different way and goes, hey, there are these channels,
mm,
right? And
mm,
then, therefore, that's why acupuncture, bam, 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 which is great. But if we're just looking at the cranial nerves as they leave the base of the brain, right? And so you've got the trigeminal nerve and pharyngeal area,
mhm,
right? So if we're grinding or we're wincing, just because we don't see well, we're wincing and
mm,
we're wincing, it's going, look at what it's doing.
mhm,
It's going to almost do this because you're never going to wince and go,
mm,
right? You're going to wince and so then it brings towards the jaw, the
mm,
activation of the
mm,
muscles around the jaw. And
mm,
so that you've got the trigeminal nerve that goes towards down here, I mean, up along here. The trigeminal nerve goes up onto the scalp. It goes into the lacrimal duct and
mm,
above the eye, that is your tear duct,
mm,
which is wonder why so many women get diagnosed with dry eye,
mm,
and they go, oh, it's this. And I'm like, and let me show you what you can do with the nerve, right?
mm,
Because it's happening at a time that we're doing this,
mm,
or we're having more stress. Our
mm,
hormones are changing and we're having stress in our body because we don't have enough progesterone and the
mhm,
balance with estrogen and all of that.
mhm,
So there's all this going on. And then the trigeminal nerve is getting hunkered down, and then the lacrimal duct isn't being told squirt out nice juices to lubricant to lubricate your eyeballs. So dry eyeballs comes from that. I have a whole blog and video on that one, and it's called
amazing.
Don't Cry for Me, Trigeminal Nerve. The truth is I never really loved you. And
I love that's
I
adorable.
might have told you about that one once before, but
No, no, you never did.
no, it's a very good blog, short blog, and video. Let me
Mhm,
close this one sec. And so let me close this one. My neighbor is blowing. So you won't
oh,
hear.
I see.
Yeah, sorry. Gardening day for my neighbor. And so, but then, so that's trigeminal, but the trigeminal nerve and the vagus nerve come out side by side
Mm, mm,
out of the base of the brain, out of the base of the skull. If the skull is out of alignment and it's moved forward because we're wincing or we're under stress or we're sitting like this, whatever it is, those nerves get impinged. So you wonder why that keeps accidentally hiking up. Now that's they're blowing,
blessing.
I'm sneezing.
Ah,
Now, when we have pain in the knee or especially the hip, and the hip is hiked up,
mm,
right? It,
mm,
or excuse me, the psoas is
mm,
pulling,
mm,
the shoulder is going to be affected
mm.
also, right? So
Oh,
we're going to walk around that by raising the shoulder,
mm,
because for some reason we subconsciously think by raising the shoulder it's going to help the leg. It doesn't, but it's a thing we do.
mm,
I am sure, again, it has to do with these nerves, and these systems tie in together.
Mm.
And so then we end up with a chronic pain in the shoulder. So when we can take it back, 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 and then we can have someone do some initial work, we remind ourselves and we work on ourselves,
Mhm.
right? We work on ourselves, even if we can only just go, we don't have to do that, but we
This
can
is
do,
your wheel, steering wheel. Okay.
right? So what we're doing is we're moving the spine supplely side to side.
You know what you helped me with so much last week was making me aware of the back of my spine,
Oh,
the nerve part, which is, of course, the active part, right? Because the front is closed off, it's rounded, right? It's protected, but the back has all these nerves coming out of it. So it's very important to be very aware of that part of the spine as well,
well, the nerves come out. Um,
of each side, right?
yeah, they come out of each side. It's not that they're coming out the back.
No, I know they come out each side, but the back is like you call them processes.
Yeah,
They're,
spinal processes.
yeah, processes, and so it's a much more complex part of the spine than the front. Complex in that it's got the nerves coming out and
Listen, you know what I think? I think we're just not aware of our backside of our body so much.
yes, that I remember you saying that before, and I take that point. I think you're absolutely right, and also I mean I was never aware of the fact that I had these two shoulder blades that were behind my rib cage, and that were gliding along the back of my rib cage. Well, I mean that's a whole part of my body that I wasn't aware of at all. So so that sort of but somehow being aware of the back of the spine as well as the front of the I mean the three dimensionality of the spine for me gives me a much clearer sense picture of what it feels like. And when I can move my spine, I move the whole thing rather than just some sort of, you know, two-dimensional visualization of what it is.
You know what else, Elise, is we have different nerves, different kinds of nerves that innervate to the muscles and skin of the back
Hmm.
than those spinal nerves that travel, like the
Right.
sciatic nerve or whatever that goes from inside,
The
you know,
spinal cord. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and we have efferent and afferent. So we have nerves that exit the spinal cord and we have nerves that innervate into it, feed back into it.
And where do they come from?
Well, they come from everywhere. If you look at, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Mm, really? Ah, computer doesn't want to do two things at one time. Um, Come on. Oh, oh, hold on. Oh, here we go. Let's see if I can find a good one. Oh, what happened to the good old fashioned? Oh, okay. Let me write another of hold on. Nope. Wow. Um, wow, that is too strange. Oh, there were always okay, here. Here. Maybe this will be good enough. This is what I was looking for. Good. Um, Let me get it up. Exactly what I was looking for. Look at this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. Do you see
Wow.
that?
Yeah.
Look at that. You
Amazing.
can't argue with that. That's not a drawing. Those are actually from the Body World Expo kind of thing where they inject the cadaver with whatever and all the nerves come through. So it shows, but if you look at these nerves, and there's probably smaller ones, plenty of smaller ones that don't show, but you can look as they exit, right? Look how they branch.
Yes, I can see that. Wow.
Well, right?
Yeah.
Now, I know that there's more. I know there's much, much more, but the branching is it's branching to organs, which is why when there's a spinal cord injury, the person can't go to the bathroom on their own,
Right.
right? This is branching to the organs, but it doesn't just travel down, it also feedbacks from the body back to the spine.
Really.
I
Wow.
would I'm almost sure it goes both ways from what I remember. It has to be somewhat there's motor nerves
Hmm.
that go from the spine and they go to muscles. And then there's sensory nerves. What
Mm-hmm.
you feel on your back, if I
Hmm.
poke you with a little needle and you
Mm.
go, "Oh, that's a little tickly. What's this?" Those go back to you and they help you flinch away.
Right. Right. Of course. Yes. Because we're sending signals to the brain all the time, right? So
Mhm.
and they're coming from the nerves, right?
It's a whole beautiful feedback loop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
same thing that whenever I would teach about the vagus nerve, I go, there's motor and there's sensory in the same nerve.
Mm.
So 85% of the conduction that
Mm.
they know so far is motor,
Mm.
meaning it goes from the brain
Into
downward to
into
the
our,
down the spine
yeah.
into your organs.
Right.
But if you eat something that's bad and that organ goes, woo, I don't feel good,
Mm.
there's a sensory component
Mm.
and it's not just neuro, it's neurochemical.
Oh, all right.
Everything is a double up, right? So
Yeah.
it's there's nerve conduction back up, but there's chemical back up. And chemical can be from the organ or the gut bacteria is chemical.
Um,
So if
um,
the gut bacteria is off in the general gut
right.
area,
Yeah.
the gut educates,
Yeah.
it tells the vagus nerve branches what to transmit up to the brain, which
Right.
is why people with IBS
Right.
or people with a big infection in their gut,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Don't feel well. They feel foggy headed and crappy up in the head
Oh, interesting.
until you get the gut biome back.
Right. Right. Got it. Got it.
Probiotics, prebiotics,
Right.
healthy diet, clean
Right.
water, clean diet.
Right.
Not that you can't eat a hot dog once a year or whatever it is. It's not
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
can't,
sure.
do the thing
It's what you eat
rarely.
every day.
Yeah, it's you got to feed the biome, got to feed the
Right,
biome
right.
because
Mm.
neurochemically
Yeah.
it transmits up and tells you how to feel in your
How
head.
do you feel? Yeah, totally,
So
totally.
when
Makes
people
perfect
are
sense.
feeding growing kids
Yeah.
crappy food, what ended up happening was a whole generation of obese teenagers. We went from when I grew up and all the teenagers were as thin as a rail, or in the 1950s, all the kids were thin as a rail. There would be one kid at the school that was obese because there was a metabolic disorder in that child. Okay, that's a different thing.
I
But
remember, I remember. And
right.
also the other thing is when I lived in France, I
Ah,
realized that all the children are thin.
yep.
They
Because they
all
eat
do
real food,
sports. They all do sports,
but they all eat real food.
and they all
Okay.
eat real food
So
and
when
very
I
regularly.
the different times in my life that I lived in Israel, Israel was always real food. They were so excited when they got their first Pizza Hut, and then McDonald's came
I
in, and
know. I know. I know. And that
I'm
was the
like,
end of it.
it's yep. People are going to get obese. No, they're not. We're not like Americans. We know how to regulate how much we eat. I'm like, it's not about regulating how much you eat. It's that shit. That stuff is not.
Exactly.
That stuff is
That's
not
okay.
real. It's really unhealthy.
Mm,
You're loading up on the hydrogenated stuff. They're just
mm,
making more money
mm,
because why did they come to these other countries?
mm.
Because people in the United States are bucking against it and they're just trying to buck up their money to get more.
Of course, of
So,
course, of course.
and then little by little, you start seeing obesity in Israel. I'm like, hey, there is no place to be obese in Israel because you got to run and hide when the bombs are dropping. And how are
Oh
you going
my
to do
God.
that when you're waddling at a kid who's 200 pounds?
Oh my God. Oh my God, how awful.
Yeah. So it's and that happens. So I'm sure it made its way to the other countries. They
Mm.
have to
It
fight for
did.
their
It
right to
did.
keep real food.
They
And
do. Well, in
so,
France, they do. They
yes,
do. And in
yes.
Italy, they do. So those are the two
Not
countries.
in the beginning, not in the beginning. There was a point when we were in Italy and the Italians were making fun of us about how many Americans were coming to Italy with gluten issues and saying, I can't eat your stuff, I can't eat your stuff. And the Italians, you Americans, you're so broken. You blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, the Americans have been exposed to a type of wheat that has 4 times the amount of gluten in it, and I can assure you, biology is the way it is. If your culture was exposed to it, you'd get broken too. No, I go, have at it. Yeah, we're making a deal with Monsanto and we're going to be growing all the wheat. Well, I'm just going to say you really shouldn't do it. I'm going to beg you not to do it. You're going to break your system. You're going to break your genetics. Your children will be sick. Your children's children will be sicker. And your medical system and your society system will not be able to take care of these broken children. It's going to be a
Wow.
problem. Blah,
Wow.
blah, 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 blah. So France says, yeah, Italy says yes, then France said yes. And then all of a sudden, France recognized people start belly aching, belly aching, belly aching. So what did the French do?
They regulated. Or they said no.
They went to the fields and burnt them on fire.
Oh, wow. Wow.
They went to
Amazing.
the fields
That
and
sounds
burnt.
French. That sounds like the French. They
So
burn cars. Well, why not wheat?
So they burnt the wheat fields. And
Elinor,
then,
I have to interrupt you for a second because my leg is bleeding.
oh,
I just want to run and put a bandage on. It's because I'm
okay.
taking blood thinners. Go figure. But I just
You,
don't want it to.
you don't want to clot after the surgery. Go clean it up.
Exactly. I'll be
Okay.
right back. I'll be
And
right
I'll
back.
pause. Yeah, I'll pause this.
Okay. It was just a
Resume.
scratch. It was just a scratch. So it happens.
Of
I'll get
course.
off those blood thinners in a few months. So
Yep. And you won't have a clot.
and I won't have a so you were talking about
Well,
we were
so that
talking about obesity, yeah.
but so it goes back. Let's take it back to okay, we're good with that. But so what's in the gut doesn't stay in the gut. It goes
Mm.
to the nervous system. So what I was wanting to get to was, can you imagine how crappy those kids all feel in their head?
Exactly, exactly, and that makes total sense. It's
They're
totally
tired,
yeah.
sluggish, lethargic, slow thinking, not motivated.
Mm,
I'm
yes.
not I'm not making a broad brush. I'm just saying more likely
Yeah.
because the gut is so off, it can't transmit that good stuff up to the brain. It's
Absolutely.
so much more work to be
Mm,
present,
mm,
available, to move in all five cardinal directions
mm,
and
mm,
be a viable, amazing human being
mm,
when you can't get the conduction up to the brain.
mm, mm, mm,
That's my broad brush.
mm,
It's
mm.
very difficult.
I get
So
it. I get it.
so when you see these nerves,
Hmm.
there are also sensory nerves on the skin
Okay, and that's where we were getting to, the
and
back.
sensory nerves to the muscles.
Right.
So then that's why if I poke your skin on your back, right? If
Mm.
you touch an animal on the back too lightly, they do a flicker because it's a flicker designed to twitch off a fly,
Ah, got it.
right? So when we
Interesting.
get the EBGBs, it's a feedback and an overload of feedback that was trying to go through but didn't know where to go, and it does this. We
Hmm,
don't expect that it's a fly because our skin won't do that.
hmm,
When there's a fly, we actually go like that when there's a fly.
hmm,
So we have a different response. But the
hmm,
thing is we see the front of our body. We may
hmm,
see a little bit of the sides of our body,
hmm.
but we don't visually see our backside. So we don't recognize what we're walking like from the back
Mhm.
or then feel in the
Right,
back.
right.
And also, so we're not seeing it. Also, most of life has to do with walking forward, bending forward.
Mhm.
We don't bend backwards to go
Mm,
pick up a tissue off the floor.
mm,
We bend forward. So we get such a training in it. But if you look at a baby, the baby is going forward and back. And when it cries, it arches back and it
mm,
right, it writhes and it goes like this.
mm,
But little by little, especially when we put them in kindergarten or pre-K and put them in a chair, and
mm.
now you sit them in these 90-degree angles, right? So it's all about going forward.
Yeah.
So they lose that unless they get to go out on the jungle gym and they're back into extension swinging. So what happens with us, the less that we're doing that, the more we're just a little bit rotating forward, we end up with shoulder issues. We also end up with connective tissue issues in the shoulders because the collagen amount changes.
Oh, I see.
So it can get torn more easily anyway.
Mm.
So I remember there was a time that my mother would walk with her hands just like this in her pocket,
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
just the tips, not the whole hand, just the
Right,
tips.
right.
And I remembered asking her why. I go, Mom, you shouldn't put your hands in their pockets. No, Elinor, it's just the tips of the fingers. I go, okay, boy, she's so intelligent about herself. And I
Mm.
asked her why. And she goes, it helps me to bring my shoulders back. So I went, wow. So I watched her walk and she was still walking like
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
versus when I see older people who they put their hand and they do one hand like this,
Mm.
they're doing that because there isn't this movement.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
what they have is almost like a dead hand, like a
Mm.
stroke, and they're just putting it there. And I
Mm.
remember I said to someone very close to me the other day, I go, you're gonna wish in the future that you moved your arms when you walked. Because if you have a stroke, you're gonna say, God, and now I can't move my arm.
Oh my god.
So I'm just and you should have seen the look I got. And I'm like, I'm looking right back at you and I'll hold the eyes. I'll raise you 10. I'll raise you one because
Wow.
use it because if you lose it, it's hard to get it back.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, totally.
so the thing is we want to work with that contralateral. Now,
Yes,
why is it
now
that when
now
I do
we
the
have
lessons with the gliding of the shoulder blades
yeah,
is drawing back your image of your backside,
yes.
right?
Mhm.
And we're reminding you,
Mhm.
meaning everyone, reminding everyone that the shoulder blade gliding has to do with not getting a frozen shoulder. If a
Exactly.
person has a frozen shoulder or a lot of arthritis, it's not really gliding along the back of the back ribs,
Right.
which is why massage therapists want to get up under it and do all that. And I'm
Yeah.
saying, yeah, but so let's play with, we don't have to do it too much because it can aggravate, right? Because it can aggravate. It's a lesson in learning. It's a lesson in learning that even if we thought we moved well,
Mm.
that
We're
there
not
was
moving
still,
all of us, all of ourselves.
yeah.
I wanted to move on from the last lesson when, remember, I was on my back on the bed, and we had found the middle, and we were moving the pelvis forward and back, which I've been doing all week. Um, I've been doing that lesson all week, and I think it's very important for me. And when I walk, I think of finding my middle first, and then I don't think too much, and I'm trying to do see what happens in my body if I just find my middle and I think of that lesson where we went from going forward in the middle to going forward over the right leg and then over the left leg. So I've been doing that. And I wondered whether or not you wanted to see that or you want to see me walk.
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
All right. Tell me if this is good as
Okay.
far as that. How's that? Can you see me?
I can. Tilt it down a little bit.
Okay. I do have a little pain in my on the outside of my right foot. Um,
Mm.
it might be because I'm not used to walking,
Hmm.
and it's a bit painful. So I'm trying not to inhibit my the movement of that foot because it's a little painful.
Okay, so do me a favor, lower it and let me see your feet.
Okay, I'm wearing shoes. Should I take them off?
No.
Okay.
Well, let me see it in the shoes. Oh, oh.
How are
Okay,
you doing?
okay, take off the shoes. Oh, okie doke. Oh my goodness. Okie doke. I see what's happening.
You do?
So you're pronated on the right foot, which would make sense because of the hip.
Right.
Okay, you're pronated on the right foot. Now that you have a new hip, it probably pulls you a little bit to the outside of the foot, which you haven't stood on, and it hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, so have
What is
we done the
pronating mean?
lesson?
What does pronating mean?
You're sickling. The foot is dropping in
Ah, okay,
on the right. The foot drops in a lot.
okay,
Now, you probably did it on the left, but you grew a bunion there instead.
exactly.
So that bunion added your foot to make the weight over that. But your right knee is over the
This side.
big toe. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. That makes
So
sense.
honestly, I'll tell you, we'll do a lesson, but it would behoove you to go to a sporting goods store and just get a little insert in, a soft insert in your shoe.
What for the arch?
Yeah.
Why a sporting store
Maybe you
instead
can
of?
even get it at a drugstore. Hold
I was
on. No.
thinking that I do have them.
Like a Dr. Scholl's but
I
yeah.
have
So
these in my. I have these. Can you see?
nope. I only see your feet.
Oh,
Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay.
I have them. They're
Does
in my
that
shoes.
does that build but that let me see the side. Okay. Uh I wonder if you need a little more support in the arch. I wonder if you need a little more support in the arch.
Maybe.
Because what's happening is you're dropping in on your right arch.
Okay.
And so because he put the new hip in, it's moving you out over the outside edge of the foot when you're walking.
Yeah.
So go ahead and let me see you walk, but only from the feet.
Okay. And barefoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then with the shoes.
All right. Is this good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm walking back.
And come back and go back again. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. You need different inserts in your shoes. Go ahead, put your shoes on. Better.
Yeah, it's better with the shoes on.
Better with the shoes on. And if you could get one maybe a little bit more where it lifts you from the front of the arch rather than the arch. So in other words, I'm going to give you my foot. Hold on. So if you can get one that supports the arch here more than the arch here,
I see.
right? So we have more than one arch. We have an arch here from the front in the medial aspect, but we
Hmm.
also have an arch here.
Yes.
That's an arch. And
I see.
so if it can support you there
Hmm.
along with here, so it's not pushing your foot to the outside, but
Yes.
it's supporting your foot. So you're getting the foot to be like that instead of the foot to just be like that.
Okay.
So in other words, that way you can walk because this is a getting older thing. You want to help me? Okay. So this is a getting older thing. Yeah. Can you walk with me? Hold on. I'll see. Come here. Okay. Can you see me now? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So when people get older, they walk like this.
Yeah. Yes.
They're walking flat footed.
Yeah.
Okay. And what we need to get is this rolling action. So
Heel
that's
toe.
all you need to do is stand with your hand at a counter and just play with a rolling action.
Okay.
And then you can add a bend to it. Right. This is
Okay.
part of Ruthie Alon's walk.
Okay.
I'm glad we're getting this on video. And then notice my head. So when I do it, I know you don't see the feet so well, but see, I'm going to do the bending. See, my head gets moved. Ready?
Yes. Ah, I see. Yes.
And then I can find the bending in different ways. And you'll find that there could be a very quick and easy fatigue. So
Right.
you want to just play with the rolling of the feet and then stop and do it in the step position. Then
Okay.
stop and then walk again.
Okay.
And your whole walking will improve, and that easiness of the heel toe and where you're landing on the feet and rolling over so it doesn't cause the pain only on the outside arch.
Okay.
And I'm
Okay.
glad you're bringing it up because it's
Yeah.
not like it hasn't happened to me before too.
Oh, really?
We're all on the earth,
Yeah, right.
you know.
Okay. Well,
So
I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that, even with
okay,
these insoles, and see
yes.
whether I can improve.
And so you're going to work with the pelvic rocking,
Yes.
okay? And then pelvic rocking over one diagonal and the other,
Hmm. Which
rolling the
I
head,
love.
right? The rolling of the head and the differentiating of the eyes.
Now, what's that? Differentiating of
Well,
the eye.
we've done the roll the head a little bit one
Yeah.
side and the other, and then let the eyes go with it. And then quietly let the head go one way and the eyes just stay in the middle or go the opposite
We
direction.
didn't do that, Eleanor. We didn't get that far
We
last
never,
time.
no,
No.
no, no, but we did that a year ago.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that's okay. So in other words, we're just creating differentiation. Well, I think we did it.
I'm not sure. I
Yeah,
think I would have remembered.
I think you're probably right. That's why I'm like, I thought we did. I
But
can't
we can
believe we
do it
did it.
now. We can do it now.
Yeah. So we're just creating differentiation. Our face becomes softer. It helps us with our lateral vision, our
Hmm.
peripheral. And then we come back to the middle. Then we, and then when we stand, and then we do a walk, we notice the walk, and then go stand at the counter with a hand at the counter and in the step position. And that's when you step forward, come through the middle and step back, come through the middle and step forward. And you be the boss, be creative, and notice when can you go down and up and change it. Change it. Doesn't have to be one way or the other.
Okay. Hmm.
And then notice your breathing. And then notice any residual tension in the base of your skull and your neck, and maybe even up in the front here, and integrate it.
Very good. Very
And
good.
then, and integrate your breathing that you go, oh, and then notice how your shoulders are.
They feel great right now.
And
Just
then,
even thinking about it.
I know, I know. And then walk again and notice the shifting, the changing in your walk, the quality.
Okay.
So the last 15 minutes of this lesson, I'll write it
Yes.
to you. The last 15, the beginning important conversation
Yes.
for you to listen to when you're walking about in your apartment.
Yes.
The last 15 minutes is the self awareness through movement lesson integration that's important for you to take for the next week
Fantastic.
or two
Fantastic.
weeks, right?
2 weeks. 2 weeks now. Yeah.
2 weeks. This is the information you're going to want.
Okay.
So rocking the pelvis forward and back, at
Okay.
one angle and the other. Then you notice with the walking, right? Going that, bending, step position, rest, breathing, change feet over, holding on to the counter, and then, the edge, and then doing that step position. And you play with the musicality of the notes, not the notes, play with the musicality of it.
I will. I will. I will.
Not that you get stuck in a specific rhythm, but that the musicality is
The
when do
flow.
you when do you bend up and when do you bend down? And then notice any residual stress or tension that happens in the base of your skull at the top of your neck. And that may transcend to your shoulders and let that integrate so that your jaw and eyes and head are easy. They're not doing anything anyone tells you to do except feel good, which is not over moving them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then at the last, you can come back, Again, the rolling the head and the eyes. And maybe 2 times differentiated easily. Come back. And then you walk and notice the quality of life.
Terrific. Excellent.
I will get this up
Okay.
onto YouTube. I think I forgot to put
Yes,
last.
you
I
did.
did. I
I was
did.
gonna
Okay,
I was gonna mention that. Yes.
okay, thank you. It's on my it's I think I uploaded it. I forgot to send it to you. So
Okay.
let me just check and then I will upload this one right now and get it sent to you right away.
Fantastic. Okay, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.